You can turn on the lights if you want, I just use the 7 hours.
It's not really dark in here. Do you want the lights on?
No, I don't need them.
I'm not trying to save electricity.
Yeah, me too, and,
No lights first.
you know, me out for dark.
Okay, you have your jacket here.
Yes.
You have 4 shirts, 4 underpants, and 3 pants and 1 pair of shorts. Okay, all right. You want to have a conversation, Pops?
Yes.
Okay. I assume it's a heavy conversation, so I brought coffee.
Pretty good coffee, too.
Why, thank you. Nemo made it. The coffee should still be warm.
Well, there's some kind of special, it's some kind of exotic blend or something.
I don't know. Nemo made the coffee. I didn't ask him how he made
It's
it.
good. Yeah, well, we're not going to discuss Joe Lane anymore.
Okay, that's up to you.
Okay. There's no need.
Okay.
And I just, through the night, my mind working with the patch on, and all the other shit going on, and all the things I hear going on in my mind. And I just got to thinking, I don't know what other I don't know what other alternative I have, other than being with you guys. It's not fair to you guys. And
What's not fair?
me being always there with you, and
What does that mean? Like living there?
yeah, and I just, I get stubborn, and I don't like to feel like I'm, subservient or under control,
You feel like you have no control?
No, but I feel like I'm always afraid I'm going to do something.
Can you be more specific?
Well, I haven't stayed up watching TV till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in months, a couple of months.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, because you said something the other day about that. I mean, I pretty much quit staying up watching TV because I was getting tired and going to bed earlier.
Okay. Did I upset you when I said that?
Apparently it did, or I wouldn't have took offense to it.
Okay. I did not mean to offend you. It wasn't meant as an offensive comment. You did stay up to 2 or 3 in the morning watching TV.
For a long time, yes.
Yes. So I was making a joke, and I apologize. It wasn't meant as an offensive joke.
And I just saw tonight's the season finale of Tracker, and I'm way behind. Terrible, huh?
No, but you're changing the subject.
Okay.
I asked if you wanted to have a conversation.
Well, we were talking about TV.
We were.
I just,
What do you want, Pops?
I don't know.
Okay, let me...
I want, I don't know, I want a social life, but I don't have a social life. I don't know how to have a social life.
I'll be honest with you, this is the first time in a very long time, Pops, that you've said something that you need. That you've said something that wasn't... This is good. This is, in my mind, progress. Okay?
Well, I'm trying. Ninette's trying to help me.
Nanette's a very good person.
I know.
She has a lot of love and a lot of
And she
positivity.
just got 2 new chickens.
She named one of them Nugget, and I thought it was because of you.
And the other one's Luke.
Yeah, Luke and Nugget.
And, well, when she showed me how Henrietta, did you see Henrietta all?
No, I only saw a post on Facebook. I haven't dived into
Oh,
it.
Henrietta all getting ready to have a beer can shoved up her ass and put in the cooker.
Oh, Henrietta died?
Well, yeah, you can't cook them alive. It's a bad thing.
Oh, I didn't know Henrietta wasn't eating chicken.
That's why you don't make pets out of your...
She called them pets. I got confused.
I know. Well, as my brother always said, that's why you don't make pets out of your livestock, which is what almost got Rita's husband killed because they got gored by a bull because they made a pet out of it.
Carl?
Yes.
Got you. Okay, but back on topic.
Okay.
I hear you, okay? And this conversation is heavy. It's intense and it's uncomfortable. And I'm sorry
I know.
that it is that way. But to be honest, there's no way in life that you can grow without a challenge. Nothing that's worth doing comes easy, truly. I always think of plants, you know how I love plants, but man, they start underground and they gotta push their way up out, you know?
Yeah, but that's what they're designed to do.
So are people. People aren't made to be alone and in solitude. You're not a hermit, okay? And you never should be a hermit. It's not bad for our type of people.
Well, spent a long time in a truck, you know.
That didn't make you a hermit. You talked in the CB. You went to the truck stop.
Talking to CB much.
You listened to the CB.
Yes.
When you were younger, you talked in the CB.
Yes. When I was younger, I was famous.
You're still famous, Props. You're still famous. I think the last couple years have been hard on you.
Well, you know, I can't rely on talking to people online and stuff, which was a bad thing. I mean, not a bad thing, but it could be turned into a bad thing. You know?
I think that having having somebody to talk to outside of your own self is very important. Because we, as I mentioned this morning in text, us Faulknerites tend to make overthinking an active hobby.
Yes.
It's kind of what we do.
Exactly.
And
which is why most of us get migraines, not me, but
I get migraines.
I know.
I think that being open and talking and having conversations, even though they're difficult, that's what I said yesterday. If we, you and I, if we can't speak candidly and heavily, then what good is being family? Family isn't just there for good times, they're there for not good times. And I think over the last...
But see, I've got Deborah and I've got Benjamin, and
what does that have
we
to do?
do not speak, and we do not talk, and we probably never will again.
What does that have to do with anything? Because I said family?
Yeah.
I'm talking about you and I being family.
Okay.
Your relationship with Benjamin, your relationship with Deborah is between you and them. I have a relationship with Benjamin, I have a relationship with Deborah, and I choose not to have one.
Well,
Because
okay.
the same as I feel with Joshua, Tammy, anybody else. If someone wants to come talk to Phoenix, they can come have a conversation with Phoenix.
Right.
If somebody wants to talk to me, they can come talk to me. If they don't get to be in my playground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the person who we're not talking about didn't talk to me. And if there was a problem, there was no conversation.
I know.
And the conversation that was had was about sign my lease for me because you promised me 3 years ago you would. And I said, let's have a conversation about what that means. And they got upset. And then later told me they were upset because I made it sound like they couldn't handle their money. And I said, I cannot enter a financial contract with someone that's not going to have a conversation with me about financial contracts. And that was the beginning of that person not talking to me.
Okay, I know.
Okay. And my relationship between me and that person is between me and that person. I realize it's a different type of relationship than you and that person had. But sometimes anchors drag you down.
Yeah.
And I do find it, even though we're not going to talk about that person, I do find it to be a heinous act. Your feelings being festered to the point where you were talking behind my back and behind my husband's back and not to us, and to let those feelings dictate your relationship with us. That's what's not fair.
I agree. Right.
If you want to live with house mnemonics, which is what I call it because it's easier, but if you want to live with me and my husband and my kids, you can do that. If it's the matter of needing help washing and after the shower getting powdered, that's not a problem. You know? That's not.
Okay.
What is a problem is your levels of respect to the people in the house. And if you don't have to agree with us, I don't know what being an American and not being a Republican had to do with anything yesterday in relationship to my husband being Indian. I don't know what one had to do with the other, or the fact that I have heavy connections to India. I don't know what your problem is with India, to be honest with you. We can talk about that if you'd like.
Not really right now, because I really don't know myself.
Okay, I understand. But as far as you needing a social life and needing to get out of the house, for lack of a better way to put it, I fucking agree with you, man. You sit and you stew and you think and you have the same perpetual thoughts and the conversations you have, whether it's comments on YouTube or talking with people via text, it doesn't matter. If you're not engaging with someone, maybe on the phone, verbally or in person, it's not helpful to you. And I agree with you. Now I know that you don't enjoy people that much. So suggesting that I get you hooked up with a bingo night probably isn't going to work.
They try that here.
Okay? But I do think at the very minimum, okay, and please be open to this suggestion. I think at the very minimum, you can talk with a counselor. And I know that Medicare, I believe, offers...
Yeah, I have no problem talking to a counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever I can get. Just like Dr. Patton.
But I think that might also help you get out of your loop, right? Like there are some things that
Yeah, the only problem, for instance, in the past is like with Dr. Patton, she was very religious, and turn it all over to God don't work for me.
Okay,
well, I know there are...
When did you go to Dr. Patton? Was it more than 10 years ago?
Of course it was.
Was it more than 20 years ago?
I think yes.
Okay. I say it like that because things have radically changed. And I say radically as in what existed 20 years ago has tenfold multiplied. There has been a insurgence of mental health days, therapy. Every time have you not seen any of the apps posted on YouTube?
Well, yeah, now that they finally realize that we actually have a fucking problem in this country with mental health.
Yes.
And the stigma behind it.
Yes, and I think, I'm almost positive, and I can look into it. I can ask IBC. I have their number on my phone. I can call them right now if you want. They're open 24/7. Their member health support team.
They make root beer.
Yeah, right? IBC, very funny. Very funny. I see.
That was the thing the other day. God damn it, I got to thinking about the Bell restaurant in Lebanon, Missouri. They used to have the most delicious homemade onion rings. And I looked it up. Shit, they've been out of business for 20 years. It hurt my heart.
Mm-hmm.
God, they were the best onion rings in the world.
Yeah, that happens from time to time.
And the other day I was thinking, man, nothing would be better than onion rings and root beer floats. And I mentioned that to my PT, who did not understand how important onion rings and root beer floats could be.
But so these things, for someone that's, I want to put it nicely. It's not that like a counselor or a therapist or whatever wouldn't care about you, but they're actually paid to care about you.
Right.
Right? The physical therapist, Dr. Callender, your PCP, right? Your OT. They're paid for their particular function.
Yes.
Physical therapy, occupational therapy.
It's also something they chose to do.
Yeah, but there's a
As which Dr. Carl and I discussed that because today's people coming out are not interested in practice. They're not really interested. It's a business to them,
yes,
which is sad.
but that's how things
That's the way it is.
have evolved, right?
Yes.
And so I believe, at least for a start, do I have the perfect suggestion right now about you having a social life? No. But do I think a good start would be to talk to, I say counselor, but talk to a therapist? Hell yes.
I agree.
So uh, let's do that. Okay? Let's figure that part out. Now, as far as your options, you have options, okay? But they require communication, understanding. It's like any kind of product. You have to be aware and considerate before making a purchase. And I've tried to have a conversation with you, and maybe it just felt like I was talking at you the last month, but I've been trying to help you understand.
I know.
Do you know what your options are for physically where you could be?
Do I?
Yes.
No.
You don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't.
Okay. If you
Can you give me some guidance as to what I'm thinking about here?
if you weren't living with myself and my family, where would you live?
I would, probably under a fucking bridge somewhere, I guess, because it's not my.
It's not what I meant. Dude, no state in this country would be like, yeah, let that old guy live under a bridge.
Fuck, California has no problem with it.
I'm pretty sure many of those people had choices, but that's beside the point. We're talking about you.
We all have choices.
We do. Okay.
Doesn't mean that I'm a fucking meth head. Doesn't mean I'm a fucking dope head. Doesn't mean that.
What is.
Because that's what everybody sees when they see somebody living under a bridge.
Got you. There's a guy that comes around Phoenixville. What is his name? I think his name's actually Mike, to be honest with you. If we ever drive to Redner's anytime, you might see him. He camps out between Redner's and...
He's like the Walgreens guy in Tucson.
Yeah.
With all the burn scars.
Not that bad. He actively chooses. He had a wife, a family. He chose to just, I'm going to live out in the world. He's the happiest guy ever.
Good for him.
He lives, camps out, and sometimes his campsite washes away and he has to start all over, but that's how he chooses to live his life.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's a meth head. He just literally chooses to live that way.
But he's got to be pretty damn tough and resilient.
That's correct. Okay. So you live at House Mnemonix you live with myself and Mimo that has a particular set of requirements, right?
Okay.
Which we'll talk about. But you can also relinquish your income. There's places that are similar to this, but it's closer to Saratoga. As you notice, the clientele in this area are a little bit different.
Yeah, the people here got money.
Right.
Somewhere in the line there's money.
Yeah, we don't.
Yes, I know it's
so.
Which is why it's a lot better than
Saratoga.
To me, it'll always be Limerick because of the power line.
Yes, okay, better than Limerick. Okay, if you don't want to live with us, which is absolutely your choice, and I'm not saying that you have to.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, it's your choice. It's literally options.
It's a thing over time. It's not something that has to be.
No.
Right.
If you choose not to live with us, then we can call the Department of Aging and say, can't take care of him. He has to be somewhere that can take care of him.
Right.
And they will take your check and find out all your medications. You would no longer, most likely, I don't think you would have a PCP anymore. They'd probably have an in-house person, would be my guess.
Right.
But then you would go into a place, and I'm assuming, from what my understanding is and researching, that it's probably pretty close to Limerick.
Right.
Like the demeanor of the facility.
Right.
Okay. That's not.
Everybody hates to be there. Nobody wants to work there, but
yeah, and that's
they're all stuck there.
Not really where I'd want you to be, or anyone.
Me too.
Okay. But that would be the option if you don't want to live with us in Pennsylvania. Okay? If you wanted to live in another state, if you want to go back to Arizona, Missouri, whatever, and call that Department of Aging, but I'm pretty sure you have to have residency first.
Well, yeah, of course.
So, you know.
At this point, I don't see any point in making a transition to another state like that as a permanent thing.
Okay.
At one time, I wanted it, as you know, and then I decided I didn't want it.
Okay. I will want to tell you my personal belief, if that's okay with you.
Yes, well, that's why we're here.
No, we're here because you... I'm actually here because you exist, for starters.
Come in. Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice, you got your Cobb salad after all.
Chef's out.
Well, is
I mean,
dressing
chef
on
salad.
there? 'Cause I didn't see no dressing.
I don't see any dressing on here.
Okay. What kind of dressing you want?
Ranch, if possible.
Ranch.
Got it?
Yeah.